have you along here on Facebook. Let me turn off Blue Bloods in the background there. Love that show. I'm addicted.
Wow, you old man, you.
Dude, Blue Bloods is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I can get the collar. That's what's called when you arrest somebody or got called a bus. That's when you got called an ambulance.
Oh my god.
Between that and live PD, I'm practically a deputy.
PD? Yeah, no kidding. Just didn't go to school for
it. You like my Christmas tree back there? Mallory put up for me. Yeah. Got the monorail under it.
I love it.
There's my stocking from when I was a baby. Nice. That's like that's my classic stocking from when I was a little kid.
Aww.
Hanging on our fireplace.
Aww. That's cute.
Not a big fire. You can't.
I can't see that.
I'm trying to put the.
Oh wait, no, I do see it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I can see my couch is right behind me.
That's the fireplace. I got it.
And that's like my walkout. Big window right behind there. And there's a window right up here. We can't see it. It's where that stool is. The window there, right next. It's right here.
Yes, I see that.
Yep, this is where I chill, and that couch pulls out into a bed in case you want to take a nice nappy nap.
Nice. Oh my gosh,
that's
afternoon. Awesome. How often do you nap there?
I get up at 4:45, so I can.
Oh my god! Of course you do.
Hey Phil.
That's true. That's true. You do.
I take
like a weirdo.
I sleep in shifts. I get up running by 5, and then I get my work done. Then after lunch, I take a quick little nappy nap, and then get back to work. I'll set an alarm.
How long is your quick little nappy nap?
Pretty much.
So you just pass out.
It's peaceful. Nobody's here.
Okay, got it. Got it. And then when do you? I mean, you don't usually wake up at a certain time.
No, it's just like an hour nap. That's about it.
No.
When I was a teacher, if I was super tired on my plan period when I had afternoon, because some years you had morning and some years you had afternoon, but if I had an afternoon plan period, sometimes I'd lock my room and crawl to my desk and like take a little half-hour nappy nap. And I was always scared the superintendent would be coming around, like just checking up on the teachers, like I'd like get caught sleeping under my desk. Those are the days of like.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I don't like my mic on the side.
I'd be scared too, though.
But... Oh, because I want to see the Christmas tree.
Why'd you move it?
I like my tree.
Oh, got it.
Let's see.
Got it.
Let's see here. Eric says, just got into a whole discussion about what they called Walt Disney World's forced tipping for parties over 5. I think every place does like forced tipping once you get to like 6.
Yeah, they do usually. Yeah.
Are you? I don't know. You're not to me.
Am I delayed?
Is Rikki delayed? Because we're getting ready to start.
What's going on?
Let's do that before if it is.
That's a weird.
You sound good here.
That's a weird thing to be delayed on.
Thank you. I try.
Well, you sound good too.
First question's about the BOGP Christmas elves.
Oh,
no, I just paid.
Are they the ones that decorate your tree?
And her cousin in Starbucks. Just the video's delayed.
Nice.
Huh. It's not here.
Oh. That's weird.
Well, we'll go for it. Because I mean, I want to reset everything at the pain in the butt. We put all the input in. Okay, here we go. So this is
no, that's true.
I'm gonna, if you can make it, that's awesome. If you can't, you can't, because it won't be a big deal. I'm gonna do that live call-in show on December 15th. Because that way I can have it out for like everybody's Christmas drives. It's just going to be holiday traditions.
Bob says it's the video too. I should. I'm hardwired, by the way, so I don't know why my video is delayed. I hope I can make that. That is the only night I could have made it. So that's a Sunday, right? Yeah. If that's. So as of right now, I'm okay, but we'll see.
The video.
Not entirely sure. So
you're an old school CRT TV ratio, which I prefer because I'm a retro kind of guy. Here, let me do this. Let me see. Play. Put you back up. I don't think this will matter. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, I took you out.
Am I better now?
Okay. Eric, we'll get to your question.
Am I any better?
And
it might take a second because there's always a delay when you come back. So, Or there's always a delay for the.
Eric's here.
I'm drinking out of my awesome Christmas mug that I got this year.
Oh, nice.
At the Christmas tree trail.
Which people are going to see in 10 minutes because of the delay video, apparently. And it'll look like the 1980s.
Exactly.
All right, we're cracking here. Hopefully it catches up.
Sorry, everybody.
Okay, so let's see. Let me go here and here and there and here. This is for Wednesday. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1572 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. We hope that everybody had a tremendous Thanksgiving weekend. Man, was that nice to have life kind of slow down for a little bit, have some great food. Not the best football news in my universe. Lost our head coach here at Mizzou, which I was a huge fan of. Alabama hit the goalpost against Auburn. So we're not talking football today, and just enjoying friends and family. Got the Christmas decorations up. So excited for that. It's the best time of the year. So let's talk some Disney. That makes it even better, and answer your listener questions. So joining me today from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less, we have Rikki. Rikki, what's going on?
Well, I had a bit of a rough Thanksgiving. So, for those who may have missed it, I ended up getting food poisoning the day before Thanksgiving, which is always super fun. So I'm okay now. I'm on the mend. I'm able to finally eat, which is nice because, not being able to eat for days is super fun. I did eat a little bit of Thanksgiving dinner, so that was good. I had a little turkey and all the sides and everything like that, but it wasn't like I didn't get to gorge like I wanted to because I didn't want it to.
That is my worst nightmare that something like that would happen right around Thanksgiving, because that is seriously, Thanksgiving is probably the best holiday of the year. I love Christmas. I'm a huge Christmas fan, but Thanksgiving is great because it's about the food and the family without the pressure of all the gifts. I like the gifts, but there's a pressure to that too.
Yeah, I had to change completely. We were supposed to go to Nashville. My parents ended up coming all the way down to Atlanta instead because I couldn't sit in a car. I mean, to drive to Nashville. That's how sick I was. It was awful. So yeah, it was not the most ideal day to have. I mean, no day is an ideal day to have food poisoning, but if you had to pick the day to have food poisoning, it's probably the least ideal day.
All right. Well, hopefully everybody had a better one than you, and a better one than my Thanksgiving when the ball hit the goalpost. So we'll move on with listener questions. That's why we're here. So the first question says, BOGP Christmas Elves. It's from Missy in Indiana. She says, hi, Mike, Pam, and Rikki. I need BOGP to be my Christmas elves. Myself, my husband, our two teenagers, my parents, and my adult sister are going to Walt Disney World in March of 2020. It is not the first trip for any of us, but it's our first trip together as a group. I've been working hard making dining reservations and planning details of our trip to make it extra magical. I'm trying to figure out what I can gift everyone in our group with this Christmas time to make the trip even more magical. Do you guys have any ideas? Thanks a bunch, Missy. All right. I like this because what it's going to do is, obviously, here's the thing about a big family trip. And I've done this a couple times. At Christmas this year, if you're going in March, that's going to be the dominant discussion around the table. Everybody will be unofficially planning, talking about it. So it's exciting. But I love the idea of giving something practical and something exciting that can get everybody fired up for the trip, 90 days down the road. So, Rikki, it's two teenagers and a bunch of adults heading down. What are some good things to put under the tree, to get them pumped up for that trip?
Oh, man, this is hard because, obviously they all know, so that part's good. You could always, the least fun, and I use that term in quotes, idea is just Disney gift cards, because then they can buy whatever they want while they're there, souvenir wise, which is always fun because that means they get to have at whatever they want, and it's nice to have that freedom to be able to do something like that. You could buy something a little more practical, maybe this sounds weird, but how much we all use our phones while we're down there. So portable phone chargers might be a good idea of something to get everybody. Just that way, like you're all connected and able to connect with each other and stuff like that. So those were a couple things that came to my head like right off the bat. I also had the idea, now not necessarily something that you could use while you're on the trip, but something to kind of commemorate the trip in general is maybe and I think they're probably starting to sell these now, although I'm not entirely sure if you can get them on the Disney store yet, but maybe a 2020 ornament for that's a Disney ornament, something like that. So that way you can kind of commemorate the trip. I have ones that you can put a picture in, so that way when you come back, you can put a picture of the whole family in. That's an idea too. So
I mean, like, Disney gift cards aren't flashy. I mean, you can get them and they look really cool. You can get, because they have a bajillion kinds. Star Wars, all the characters. Just Mickey on them, kind of generic looking. You can buy them anywhere. You can get them at Walgreens, which is nice. And actually, it gets the gift giver off the hook because they're easy to get. I will say, for my birthday, I got 4 from various family members. And the thing is, they're appreciated because they know I'm going down in January, and this is, I don't know exactly what I want, but I know I like having these Disney gift cards because when I go to the expo for marathon weekend, it's like no pressure. I can get a shirt, I can get, what have you. If I see something that kind of catches my eye that I wouldn't splurge on otherwise because I'm kind of tight, I'll pull the trigger and get an extra, finisher shirt or something, I don't know, but it could go towards my annual pass renewal. I mean, if I really want to be practical, I usually get something extra for it. Oh, by the way, I did get a Princess Half Marathon entry for my birthday. I got a Disney trip, baby. In February, I get to go to the Festival of the Arts again. I'm so I could, all the races are closed except the half, but I got in that. So I will be down for Princess again. We have gift cards. And another thing, I like the charger because that's practical. And man, I had something else I was going to say. Something else kind of crossed my mind. Oh, Pam one time gave me, she put under the tree a little, and she bought this online, and they sell them in the Emporium. It was a little train, like a little train with Mickey driving it. And it symbolized that she gifted me the behind the steam trains tour. So maybe you give, like, it doesn't have to be everybody in the group, but say, you want to do a tour with your parents, like they get a kick out of like a horticultural tour or some kind of culinary tour. Get like a little like Chef Mickey little figure, put it under the tree and say, we're going to go on this tour when we get there. Something like that.
You could do a relatively inexpensive tour with behind the seats tour, and that way everybody could go on it, and that would be a fun thing for the whole family to be able to do while you're there. That's an option too, and you could do the idea that you had, maybe give everybody a little magic bit of bands,
like Eric's saying. And actually, I just personalized my magic bands because I'm going down January and February, and I hadn't linked my reservations for either until this weekend. I'm so bad, but I guess what? I got Skyliner magic bands. How's that? That's pretty sweet. And I got something else like a Stars and Stripes, something for the January trip. So do that. All right. So let's get to, we got some questions here in the live chat. Earlier, before we start recording, Eric was asking about the discussion about force tipping down at Walt Disney for parties over 5. He says his dander is up. He's all dandered. So he's excited. But, I think this is a common thing. You can't really see me here on the live video because Christmas tree. I know it's easy to read though. No, I was about to tell you here. So I will say that this is kind of a common practice everywhere. I think once you get to parties of 6 or more, it's like a 20% tip included, gratuities on there, and you don't have to sweat. I don't worry about it because it's just kind of how it is here in St. Louis at every restaurant, right? Is it that way in Atlanta? I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of standard practice everywhere you go. If you have a party of, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 8. It really just depends on how many, but they do kind of put in that, guaranteed tip for, the server. So that is kind of standard practice that I've, noticed for parties of either 6 or 8.
It's just, so, the thing is, I'm sure you could talk with like the restaurant manager if you get a terrible service and get that modified, but I would hope you didn't get that. All right, Felicia got a question here in the live chat asking about getting over to Kennedy Space Center from Walt Disney World. She says her son would really like it. He's 13. I agree. Of course, I'm a Disney nut and I'm a big space nut as well. From what I've heard, and I have got to get over there because I haven't seen the Atlantis exhibit. I mean, you're getting to see an actual orbiter that's been in space. I actually got to watch Atlantis blast into space on its final voyage from press row. I was at a NASA tweet up. It was amazing. So I have a kindred spirit with that particular orbiter. And Disney, they did a presentation. It's very Disney-like from what I've heard. Jay has told me about it. He says it's incredible. Also, Joanne is a huge fan of this. How to get there from Walt Disney World? Best way, I think, is to rent a car just for the day. Would you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't Uber over there at all, and you could do like a private car, but that again, that gets pretty costly too. So you can get pretty inexpensive 1 day car rentals really easy. And there's the car care center on Walt Disney World property. So that's Alamo that's there. And if you ever need to rent a car, they will come pick you up. So that part's kind of nice too. So you don't have to worry about the fact of, oh, how am I supposed to get over there? That kind of thing. That, you don't have to Uber over there or anything like that to the car care center. They'll come get you. So that part's nice too. I think the Swan and the Dolphin also have some car rental places inside as well. But personally, I would rather go to Alamo just because it's its own freestanding building. And I feel like you get maybe a little bit of a cheaper cost for your rental car that way than in a hotel. But that could be my fallacy in my head.
You're in the know. I always tell people Rikki's in the know. All right. Yeah. You know what? Speaking of Disney gift cards, Logan's got a question here in the live chat. He says, hey, I have a Disney World gift card question. I'm asking for Disney gift cards from friends, family, and Santa for Christmas to hopefully use towards a trip in April. I love it. Logan and I, practical. And you're getting everybody else off the hook, man. How easy is it? Last second, you can run up to Walgreens, bam, get a $50 Disney gift card. Everybody's happy. They're happy they didn't have to go to Kohl's on Cyber Monday, and they just go to Walgreens and you get what you want. So win-win. He says, what are your best BOGP gift card tips? Can I consolidate various cards onto a single gift card? And what are the best ways to use a gift card for dining at Disney? Anything else I should know or be aware of when using Disney gift cards? Thanks. All right, first of all, you can consolidate. This is huge if you're going to make a payment with a travel agent like Mike Rallman. I'm just saying, because any travel agent really, or anytime you're making an online payment, you want to go to, it's called DisneyGiftCard.com. Now it's singular, DisneyGiftCard.com. What this is a site where you can take many of your smaller cards, say you got a bunch of 50s or 100s, and you're going to make a larger payment, say on a Disney vacation, say you got a $3,000 balance. What you can do is consolidate all these little 50s and 100s into what are called basically like free, and it's totally free Disney gift card accounts. You consolidate all these together and it'll give you one new Disney gift card number. It can go up to $1,000 and you can use that towards the payment. The reason to do this is if a refund, or say you hit a discount late in the game and a refund comes back because either you had to cancel the trip or you get money back because of a discount hitting after final payment, it goes back to that exact Disney gift card that you used for that payment. If you use 30 Disney gift cards, it's really hard to track down where those funds are going to go to, because it could go to really any of the 30. It's really kind of a crapshoot. And then you're trying to dig through, underwear drawer, because you never want to throw them away until after the trip, and figure out where that money is. If you use the account number, you have one number where those funds will go, and you can just give that number to anybody down at Walt Disney World and use that for payment. So that's a really good idea, and Disney encourages that when using making payments online for trips. So DisneyGiftCard.com. Another practical tip, you can just use them wherever you use a Disney gift card down at Walt Disney World. Some people pay off their vacations, like their balance fully go back to the room. You got to take it down at least a day before you check out, because they'll hit your credit card on file before that. So make sure you give them about 24 hours, take your gift cards down to the check-in desk, and they'll use that towards your balance on your room. Just a practical thing, when I have Disney gift cards, I sit them in my wallet in front of my credit card with my annual pass. So I don't forget to ask for an annual pass discount. So that anytime I go to my wallet, like say if I was going to use a credit card, I put my Disney gift cards in front. And then once I use them up, I just chuck them. And then that reminds me to use those first until I get to my credit card. And also do that with my annual pass, so I don't forget to take that out every time I make a purchase, even though I use Magic Bands, but kind of defeats the purpose. Disney's smart there. But what else have you used as far as like good Disney gift card strategies?
Obviously make sure you use them and use the whole balance. So do that. There are, I think for the most part, most places except Disney gift cards, there are a few places like at Disney Springs and things like that that are their own individual stores that obviously wouldn't take them. So, if you went into somewhere like Sephora or Levi's or, stuff like that, they're clearly not going to take a Disney gift card for payment. But anywhere like the Trendy stop or the, Marketplace Co-op or any, of course, World of Disney or anything that's owned by Disney, they will, of course, take your Disney gift card. So,
all right, next question is from Eric. He says, I run a lot and I go to Disney World a lot. I'm always frustrated trying to find good long running routes while there. Have you done a podcast about where to go to run there? P.S. Sad news for Mizzou with Coach Odom's release. I know. Let's see, if you talk Mizzou football, you're going to get right into the show. Coach Odom will land on his feet. He's going to be an awesome DC somewhere. So best wishes to Coach, and hopefully we get a new one. So we'll see what happens. Good one. We're looking for somebody to get behind again. If Coach Pinkel would come back, yes, but that ain't going to happen. All right, so let's get to this question about running. We have done shows on this. I will give so the problem is you can't get really long runs at Walt Disney World. There's just not a lot of places to do that because you really don't want to run along the roads. There are, if you get down on Buena Vista, there are some sidewalks, but it's just not ideal. My best places to run are Pop Century. You got to do a bunch of laps around Hourglass Lake. It's about 1.25 miles around. So I'll do like 10 miles. So I'll go around, 8-9 times. One of my other favorite places to run is Wilderness Lodge to Fort Wilderness. That is closed right now because construction of Reflections, but I imagine that will open back up to kind of connect the three. Of course, you can run Crescent Lake from Beach Yacht and Boardwalk out to the studios and back. That's a nice run too. That's about a 2-mile loop. But other than that, not a lot of, Animal Kingdom Lodge, horrible place to run. You got to really hit the treadmill there. Nothing to run there. Riverside and French Quarter, pretty decent place to run. If you I always run all of Riverside, go down to French Quarter and kind of turn around in the parking lot by Building 1 and kind of come back in there. That could be about a 2-mile loop. So you're really looking for, you're really not going to get much more than a 2-mile loop. You just got to do it multiple times. But the thing is, it's exciting. You see people going to Walt Disney World, coming back from the parks. You're always near a nice restaurant, restrooms, whatever you need, and good stuff to see. I can't think of am I leaving anything out? Caribbean Beach is pretty big, but I haven't run there in a long time. Coronado, you can run on Coronado.
I think you're good. So,
all righty. Let's get to the next question here. Let's see here from Bob. He's always here with us. We appreciate that. Finally realigned all my ADRs and fast passes after adding a late night event. When can I expect Disney to add late night, early morning hours for Hollywood Studios in January so I can do it all again? What say you to that?
I think they're still trying to see what's going on with Rise of the Resistance, to be perfectly honest. So, that opens this weekend. So maybe, man, that's hard. Maybe at the end of the month, this month, honestly, if they're going to add them, I would assume that it would probably be around then. Yeah, it's tough with Rise of the Resistance.
Were you surprised that Rise of the Resistance is not going to be participating in early morning extra magic hours?
So, yes and no. If you believe what I've heard that the rumors indicate that, of course, the attraction has been having some issues. Of course, that makes sense. That would explain why it didn't open, when we thought it didn't open with the land. So that explains that. And also it explains why, of course, things have been delayed at Disneyland with its opening of Rise of Resistance. So, something tells me that there's probably, there's smoke, there's fire. So there's probably some issues that and it's the most technologically advanced attraction that Disney's ever done, basically. So when you have all those things, in line, that seems to indicate that that's probably true. So they probably don't want to offer it during extra magic hours until they're sure that it's going to run correctly all the time like it's supposed to. And I don't know that they're there yet. So my theory is they had an announced date to open the attraction. They're opening that attraction on that date, by darn it. And that's about all that's going to happen. I can't guarantee how long the attraction's going to be open on that date, but it's opening. Just like Hagrid's did for, Universal. So they're going to open it on that date, and you may be waiting for a while because there are delays. But
December 5th. Yeah, and the thing is, we're going to talk about this on Friday because I have a good analogy, but I want to save it for Friday's show because that's kind of the conversation about big attractions, small attractions, and how they all meld together at Walt Disney World. But, the thing is, the way I see it, not participating in morning extra magic hours is that, you want to nurse this thing into working, you know what I'm saying? And like, you're just tempting fate if you're adding an extra hour onto the schedule, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a way, like say I have a train under the Christmas tree and it's doing okay, but it makes me nervous because like it was, it's complex and like it's working now and everything's good. Like, I don't want to have it running 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to kind of nurse it and keep it going all the way through the holiday season. Then I can pack it up and I can say I had a successful launch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's part of it. Like there's a lot going on. And if you can shave an hour, initially that's one less hour that you have a chance for something to break.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's true. And I suspect that there will probably be some downtimes, on opening day. So, but just keep that in mind if you are going this weekend. But yeah, I think that that's probably the reason why Rise of the Resistance is not initially
It
part of
will be.
Extra Magic Hours. It will be.
And Pam got
It's
some
just right
information that
now it's not.
Rise
So,
will not be part of the VIP tours as well, initially at least.
oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's it.
That's what I heard.
That's huge right there. Yeah.
That's what I
You've got
heard.
to
All right,
wait
Amy's
in
got a
line like
question. Says my
everybody
girls would
else.
like to know
Yeah.
your favorite attraction in a restaurant in Animal Kingdom. It's the one park we haven't visited, but are planning 2020. Sorry, it's just for Amy's girls. Okay, so I'll go first. The Thule Canteen, not to be missed. Favorite restaurant,
All right.
even though it's counter service. You can either get if you're into cheeseburgers, the cheeseburger pods are awesome. But I love the like chicken protein
Oh,
bowl. That's
yes.
awesome. So if you have two people, like if you have two girls, one order the cheeseburger pods, one order the bowl, split them up. You get the best of both worlds. Plenty of food there. Favorite attraction, man. I'm trying to think about this. The Imagineering series on Disney Plus really has me rethinking a lot of stuff. It's so good. I just die for Fridays
Gotcha.
now because I love this stuff. Uh, oh my gosh, it's so
Only a
good. And
couple
I'm working
episodes
on trying to get.
I hope
I
they
think
do
they
it.
will. It's
I
getting
really hope
good
they
too.
pick that back up and do something else
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
I think it's the most
Oh,
talked about
Baby
thing
Yoda.
besides the
Okay. Anyway,
Mandalorian.
so
So yeah.
just had to say it because I think you're required to.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
Baby
contractually
Yoda.
obligated
We're
for a
in.
Disney
Okay.
podcast to
So
mention Baby
let's see.
Yoda.
Favorite attraction, man.
Yes.
Tough. I would say Kilimanjaro Safaris.
Oh, when I was there a couple weeks ago, because it was kind of a cooler day, the animals were out so much. It was so fantastic to see. The giraffes were walking around, and the
The Lions
lions
did
were
the sleep
awake.
tonight.
Oh my
They
gosh,
slept at night and they were awake for you.
Lions were awake. Yeah, they were totally awake. So it was a really good. So many animals on a cooler day, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so my favorite, my favorite restaurant. I haven't been to Tusker House. It's on my list of places to go. It's just it's a character meal, so it's just because it's so expensive. I say that in my favorite place is one of the most expensive places to go. But I just can't justify it. But my favorite place to go is actually
You have
Tiffin's.
changed so much
But
over
that
the
is
last
super expensive.
You are a high
I
roller now.
know. Who am I? I am a high roller. That's my favorite sit down restaurant at Animal Kingdom. My favorite counter service is Satili Canteen, but since you name that, I will go with Flame Tree. I love Flame Tree, although right now barbecue and me are not sitting well together. Anyway, move on. My favorite attraction though has to be hands down Expedition Everest. Yes, even without the Yeti working the way it's supposed to, although I was one of the few people who actually saw the Yeti working correctly. Yes, but I still think the attraction is fantastic. I love the story. I love, the thrill of it. I think it's a fantastic attraction. So, Expedition Everest is definitely my favorite attraction at Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
I love the Mandalorian. Yes. All right. Let's see. Next, Heather here in the live chat says, my family of 6 has only stayed in the Magic Kingdom monorail resorts. We're going in May of 2020, and I'm debating on trying one of the Epcot Area Resorts. I'm nervous I'll miss the Magic Kingdom view. Help. Okay, first of all, well done. If you're in the monorail resorts, that's awesome. But here's the thing. I think if you stay at Boardwalk Outer Beach, you may forget about the monorail resorts because those resorts are just super nice and you are literally walking to Epcot in the studios and it is an easy walk. They're beautiful. You're not going to miss anything at these resorts. These resorts are newer. Man, I say take the chance, and I would say 7 out of 10 you may want to stay in this area more than the monorail. I don't know, just if you're more nostalgic, I think the monorail is going to meet your needs more, and if you're a Magic Kingdom focused family, obviously there's what you're going to be. But if you're somebody who visits the studios in Epcot and you like kind of a newer, more contemporary feel, I like and I really like Boardwalk. I'd go with Boardwalk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I prefer kind of the beach club overall. I think, but that's my it's between that and Wilderness Lodge, and the Polynesian as my first, second, and third home at Walt Disney World. Even, so like, I don't know, all three are kind of my favorites for different reasons. So Beach Club is, probably the one that I would suggest. But the boardwalk is great too, and I mean, really, the yacht club is great too. So I don't think you're, going wrong with any of them, but I would say give it a try. I mean, you never know what'll be your new favorite.
That's right.
So,
and of course, you stay at Yacht and Beach. Plus,
try.
Yacht Club's probably going to give you the best chance to get the best discount to save money on your trip. And then you get Stormalong Bay. So, boom. Especially in the spring and summer.
Pool
Justin's also offering up Saratoga Springs. I forgot about that for long runs. I've run Saratoga. You're right. You can get some pretty long ones. That's pretty spread out resort. And it's beautiful. It's a gorgeous place to run. Let's see here. Next question. Let's go to the inbox. Here it just says listener question with an old-fashioned old smiley, which I always appreciate because I'm kind of old-fashioned. Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. Quick question for you. My family. She's not going with her family. My friends and I will be traveling to the world in 10 days. We're staying off property and renting a car. She's doing a friend's vacation instead of like Friendsgiving and all that. All right, we're staying off property and renting a car to get around. We're hoping to go to the Grand Floridian to check out the new lounge, the Enchanted Rose, and all the holiday decorations. My question is, will they let us in at the gate just to go around to the lounge, or will we need a dining reservation to be able to enter the hotel by car without a hotel reservation? Thank you for your help, and thanks for all you do. I love the podcast. Listen every day on my commute to work. Best, Katie. Thanks for listening all the way in, Katie. We appreciate that. So what do you think? I mean, the whole thing is they're really strict on getting into those lots, which I get because people are, if you're paying those big bucks, you want to be able to park there if you're staying there.
I know. And that's the tough part because you really are going there to visit the lounge. And, you are spending money at the resort and dining. It's just you can't make a reservation for the lounge. I say, go try, see if, tell them you want to go to the lounge, see if they'll let you in. If they let you in, that's great. If not, they're just going to direct you back to the TTA.
TTA does not get you there, but I mean, my friend's not working today.
Yeah. No, the TTA would not get you there. Yeah, they'll get you around Tomorrowland. TTC, and then you'll just be able to park at the TTC, and then you'll take the monorail over to the Grand Floridian from there. So it's not the end of the world. Just you can always try and just tell them what you're doing, and they may
next
say
question
yes.
From the Lou, actually. It says LGB, which means Let's Go Blues. It's from Kathy. She says, hey, BOGP crew. I'm heading to the world at the end of the month for 5 days for my teenage daughter's Christmas gift. She was good this year. I guess maybe she had something to do with the Stanley Cup. You get to go to Walt Disney World. That kind of all works out. Who knows? See, I've planned everything for months and can't wait to bring in the new year at the happiest place on earth with a few, it says 100,000 people. It is insanity. Exactly. It is madness, and it is awesome. God, I love Epcot on New Year's Eve. You just question your why am I doing this? But then you're like, but then again, this is so awesome. Like China with the fire breathing dragon.
Awesome. Yes.
It's on you. Oh man, it's so awesome. Anyway,
is lit.
It says my question is about PhotoPass or Memory Maker. Is it worth it? I realize the parks are going to be so crowded and wall-to-wall people. We don't have any character meals planned, but we do have early morning prior to park opening, be our guest restaurant reservation, and can't wait to take pictures on Main Street. Should I fork out the money for this service or just take pictures with our phone and save the money? Thanks for all you do and have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Kathy in the Lou. So interesting question, because I normally always recommend Memory Maker, because it's $169 if you buy it prior to your trip. You want to get at least 5 days before check-in, and you're just going to get a lot. I mean, $169 is a lot. You can do a lot with that in the real world. I mean, I equate things to like, I don't know, like that's like a fifth of a MacBook Air, and like I can use that for 5 years to get my work done. I try to, but thing is, like with Walt Disney World Vacations, it's not always practicality. You're going to have these pictures. They're going to be great pictures. You're going to have them forever. Right. Your kid's not getting, I mean, have you seen the new Disney commercial, that new one with the dad and his daughter, and she's going away to school? Oh,
I avoided it because I knew that it was
need to put a warning in front of these things. And it's that in the Apple computer with the commercial with the grandpa. It's got the up music. Have you seen that one? Oh, they're trying to kill me. Like between that Disney commercial and this Apple commercial, like the girl's going away and the dad's like, and the whole tagline for the Disney commercial is they're only little for a little while. And he's like, the girl going away to college. And he's like, I'm not even going to miss you. And he's like sobbing. So he's looking at a video of her. I can't even talk about it. I'm just saying, knock it off. So yes, right there is why you need to buy a memory maker, because they're only little for a little while, and you'll have those pictures when she goes away to school. So the thing is, though, about going in prior to park opening, there probably won't be PhotoPass photographers prior to park opening. You use your camera for that, but I don't think you would regret the money. There may be somebody floating around, but I wouldn't count on it.
I would assume that they would have photographers out there because, you know, they know that people have spent money on Memory Maker. So, and they're going to try to get people who haven't spent money on Memory Maker to buy Memory Maker at that point. So I'm going to assume that there will be PhotoPass photographers out at that time. So I say yes anyway. I think there's going to be a ton of PhotoPass photographers out. You know, you see them in such random places too. You know, when I was, like I said, when I was down there a couple weeks ago, there was a PhotoPass photographer. He was standing in a spot I would have never expected to see him. It was by Kilimanjaro Safaris. It was at like we were walking out of the exit, and it was by this like random truck that you would not expect to see. Like nobody was around. You would not. No, because it wasn't his truck. He was taking pictures of another family, and I was like, this is a really unique spot for a photo. So I just said, hey, family, let's stop and get a photo here, because we've never done it there. So, you know, you see them in the most random places if you keep your eyes open for them. So I say absolutely get Memory Maker. I think it's going to be worth it. You will find PhotoPass photographers everywhere. You just have to keep your eye out for them and then stop. I mean, obviously, when you see them. I mean, don't.
Just kidding. Yeah, okay. No. Next question is from Lauren. It says Skyliner or pool. Hello to the BOGP crew. My family, including my two boys, they're 6 and 8, are headed to the world the first week of February 2020. We have reservations and a preferred room at All-Star Movies currently, but now have an opportunity where we can switch to Pop for a standard room for the same price. The only problem is the Hippy Dippy pool will be under construction while we're there, and my boys love to swim. Do you think it's more valuable to have Skyliner access over the nicer pool and shorter walk to the food court? We don't mind using Lyft. I'm so torn because I know the boys would love the Skyliner as well. Thank you for all you guys do. I love listening on my morning drives to work. Lauren is in Massachusetts. All right. Thanks a lot for taking us along the ride. I love it. We're like a morning drive show. That makes I always wanted to do that when I was like a teenager. Now I'm living my dream at 46.
Yes. Awesome. I know. Now we're a morning drive show.
Awesome. And Pam is somewhere. She'll be back. Yeah. So, let's see. So,
she'll be back. Yeah.
We do.
I know that we all still like each other.
That's why we're always in different shifts. But you know, that.
No,
Walt Disney World this week, people.
It's just life.
Some people get to go, some people don't. So that's just leave it at that. Okay. So, do we agree? Pop Century, right? The Skyliner. Because two awesome pools. I mean, you still got I love the bowling 100%. Pin pool. That'll be open.
Yes, and I think the bowling pin pool will be just fine for the family.
You also have the computer.
I think that'll be a lot of fun.
As far as it's another pool.
You know, I theory on the computer pool. I think it's just a giant square.
On the buildings all around it, which is pretty sweet. No.
Yes. But it's just a giant square. At least the bowling pin pool is shaped like a bowling pin. Come on.
Except one time they had to clear it. It was not cool. Good. Yes. Anyway, that was way back a lot. Like my first trip was like, oh my God, this is so gross. But anyway, so things about moved. Okay, so next, that probably won't happen on your trip. Let's get this question here from Rena. Hi, Mike. Hope you and the BOGP team are having a great start to the holiday season. I'm sure you've answered this question before many times. We have a group of 11 people from ages 7 months to 70 years. Would you recommend one person making the fast passes?
Nice.
I asked because my family, including my parents and my dearest friend since junior kindergarten's family, including her parents, are meeting up in Orlando for a few days in January. We'll be heading to Hollywood Studios on that day, and we're all going to do the park together. It'll be a few of our group's first time to Hollywood Studios, but we're all especially looking forward to our kids experiencing the park for the first time. If you read this question for the show, could you give a special shout out to Archer, Oscar, and Isabel? No way. Those are awesome names. I like that. Archer, Oscar, and Isabel. Shout out for the awesome names.
I will not shout out Archer, Oscar, and Isabel. It's not happening.
Which joke's about as old as this show. So yes, I think one person. So first thing you gotta do is make sure everybody's in My Disney Experience. Next thing, everybody's connected through friends and family, and then go for the fast passes. Now, with 11 people, you may not be able to successfully get, Rock and Roller Coaster at the same time. What you got to do is get as many as you can at the same time, and then say you got like a 9:30 fast pass. Then say for like half the family or group. Mm-hmm. Then you could shoot for like maybe a 10:10 fast pass for other people, because then between the first people can still use that fast pass at 10:10 because it's at the end of their window. It's the beginning of the second group's window. And that's kind of how you can like finagle things. Before, right?
Yes.
Any other tips though for making those fast passes for big groups?
Yes. Yeah, a few times. No, just be persistent. If it's maybe not at the time that you want or something like that, just keep checking back. You never know what will happen. So that's my biggest tip for anybody making fast passes, to be perfectly honest. Just keep being persistent, because it has happened for me where, I haven't had a Flight of Passage fast pass, and then boom, day of, hello, Flight of Passage fast pass. So,
all right, last question of the day comes from Curtis. Hey, Mike, just recently discovered your show and have been binge listening to past episodes for the past 2 weeks. Love it.
Oh, that's a lot of us.
Rikki Purge
and
Curtis.
Sorry. Yikes.
I have had a question on my mind regarding an upcoming Walt Disney World trip, and I thought I'd take a moment to send it in and hope you can offer some advice. My family and I will be in Florida on May 10th for a work function. We'll be then driving into Walt Disney World on the morning of the 11th. Given how close we'll be, we anticipate arriving around park opening time. We will be staying at All-Star Movies from the 11th to the 18th. My question really has to do with parking on our arrival day. If we go to a park right away and pay for parking there, will we still have to pay for parking at our resort that day when we check in later? If we go right to the resort and then hop on a bus to the park, would this save us some parking fees for the day? I know resort guests normally park at the parks for free, but I wasn't sure if it would work on our arrival day. I also wasn't sure if we could park at our resort early in the day if we haven't officially checked in until later in the day. I assume my best plan would be to park at the theme park and just double pay on arrival day. But if I can save a few dollars on my parking budget, that just means some extra Dole Whips for me. Thanks, and love the show, Curtis. And he's in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, 2,796 kilometers from the magic. All right, that's a good question there. And what I would do if I'm really trying, I think, now I'm not positive of this, but I think if you show them, you won't have to pay for parking that first day at the theme park. They will charge you that. However, since you haven't checked in, with your Magic Band, though, they should be able to scan it at the toll booth or whatever those are called and see that you're checking in that day, and they shouldn't charge you for parking initially. Definitely if you've done
I would say if you've done online check-in.
Because you checked in.
Then yeah, you're fine. So make sure you do online check-in. That's the biggest thing that I could say is do online check-in ahead of time. And they'll let you in. Absolutely.
Now, they're going to always charge you for your parking at their hotel. There's no getting around that. I mean, you could actually go to the resort, hop on a bus, then it kind of negates the whole entire problem. But if you're trying to like really get there for like rope drop and you're coming in, you don't want to waste time. Yeah, they should be able to scan your Magic Band. You should be fine. You would not have to double pay. And if that would happen, talk to them at check-in. They'll take that off your bill.
Or if that would happen, go to guest relations at that point in the park.
All right, let's do it for today's questions. Thanks so much for the great questions. It's awesome. We got to talk all kinds of fun stuff. Today's show brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News Disney Edition. It's a free iOS app. Looks great on all iOS devices. Rikki, what are we reading about on the free iOS app Theme Park News Disney Edition this week?
So this might be something that y'all missed during the holiday, crunch of last week, but Jock Lindsay's at Disney Springs is now, for the holidays, Jock Lindsay's Holiday Bar. So it debuted on November 29th, and guests can enjoy fantastic holiday decor as well as festive food and cocktails. And the story goes, of course, because there's got to be a story, that Jock has caught the holiday spirit in a big way and has decided to throw a party for all of his adventurer friends, new and old. And guests will see decorations that feature an array of gifts, lights, and holiday nods to his love of aviation. There are lots of great, adorable menu options that are themed around the holidays, as well as beverages. So Jock Lindsay's Holiday Bar will be serving up magic.
There you go. Get in the holiday spirit. Check out Theme Park News Disney Edition if you're going to get a good iOS device for Christmas or for Hanukkah, for anything this holiday season. put that app on there, and it's great. It's better than reading the cereal box. It's absolutely free, and it keeps you up to date. It's like a little Rikki in an app, basically, is what it is. So right there.
It is. I'm sorry, it's not my voice reading.
Virtualmickey.com
yes,
today.
Yeah.
Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link. Thanks to everybody who used it on Black Friday and Cyber Monday over the weekend. It's very, very helpful in everything we do to kind of bring down the cost of all of our hosting and bandwidth, which goes up each month, but that's not a problem because that's why we do the show. But it really does help offset that. So again, please use it this holiday season. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon, and give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BeOurGuestMike and at BeOurGuestPod. Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast, and check out. I've been getting a lot of emails from Teespring, which is where our store is. So if you want to get some TeePublic, Teespring, Public, whatever.
No, TeePublic.
Wrong place.
Yeah. they're two different t-shirt stores. If you go to Walmart,
I don't know. I get a lot of emails this week. It's crazy. I mean, Cyber Monday. I don't know. Today's like wonky Wednesday.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
They're gonna have a day for
Wednesday. I like that. Yeah.
Money Thursday tomorrow. It'll be
Absolutely.
crazy.
100%.
One other thing I want to throw in there. We did this last year. It was one of my favorite things of the year because my dad, who doesn't listen to the show, called me and said, "I love that show. I listened to it. It really brought back a lot of memories. Put this on your calendar. We're going to do this on Sunday night, December 15th, 7:00 Eastern. So it's going to be a little bit earlier because we may go a little bit longer. So 7:00 Eastern is when it's going to start, but you can drop in. We're going to probably go for a little bit over an hour. You can drop in anytime you like. We may change the time to 8:00 Eastern, excuse me, but I'm thinking 7:00 Eastern. We're going to do what's called our Holiday Traditions live call-in show. And what this is going to be, we did this last year. People are just going to call in. We're hoping. Hopefully you'll take some time to call in and share one of your favorite holiday traditions in your family, whether it's traveling to grandma's and grandpa's or, getting together with family, exchanging stocking gifts or doing something special for Hanukkah, whatever it is. I just love hearing, because we have listeners all around the world, folks tuned in from Australia right now as we broadcast live on Facebook, all over the country. Share what you do, like your favorite special holiday memory. And the goal of this show is that I can put it out the following week. And as everybody travels around to celebrate Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever you're celebrating, while you're in the car, this is a very family-friendly show. You can share with your kids. You can play it on the radio as you travel around during the holiday season. And, everybody can learn and everybody can say, you know what, that's so cool. They do that in Pennsylvania. We do that here in Missouri, or I can't believe they do that in Australia. That's so crazy. But you know what? I might want to try that next year. I love that idea. So we want to do that. So put it on the calendar, December 15th, Sunday night, live call-in show. I'd really appreciate it if you give me a call during that show to share your holiday traditions. Rikki, don't share, but do you have something in mind that you guys do that maybe might be a little different than most?
Yeah, absolutely. And, as time has gone by, of course, things have definitely changed. So that's kind of the interesting thing about, holiday traditions is they can change and it's okay. So that's the biggest thing that I've learned about the holidays.
All right. Well, we are going to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday talking about big attractions like Rise of the Resistance. But then it can't all be big attractions down at Walt Disney World. We're going to have a discussion why balance matters, but why Rise is going to be super important to our future Walt Disney World vacations as well. So hopefully you'll join us for that. So for Rikki and Pam, I'm Mike. Wish you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Boop. Let me save that. That was a good one. Good questions, everybody.
Yay! I know y'all are awesome with these questions. Goodness. Let's see. You make us think. That's the biggest thing.
Taco Bell for dinner last night. I'm going to have it again tonight.
I think so much.
I know.
Oh my
Thanks, listener Jennifer, who dropped off a Taco Bell for my birthday with a bunch of stuff from her cruise.
Oh, she's so sweet.
So I have all kinds of fish extender stuff, which makes me want to go on a cruise so bad. Oh, I know. So
that's awesome. She is so sweet.
Jennifer in the West.
Yes. Yes, that's awesome.
Here we go with question number 2. Or here, let me change the title. I know. I'm going to change this real quick.
Wait, we're not questions.
3.
Okay.
Oh, dude, we got to get off because Frosty the Snowman's on at 7. Not Frosty, it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Well, it's only 5.
I know.
Okay, well, it's only 5:25 your time.
And I got to edit both shows.
You're going to be fine.
That'll be fun.
Oh no. Okay. All right. We'll make it quick.
I forgot about that. That's my favorite one. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. CBS tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central.
I know, you're adorable.
Ready, Santa. Oh, I love that one. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1573 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Bum, bum, bum. We made it to another weekend. Happy Friday to you. Just got to put in some time here on a Friday. And man, I know this is a rough week because last week, we're just kind of eating leftovers, chilling, watching football, and having a good old time. What's up with this having to go back to the real world and work? The good news is holiday season. It's fun. Christmas decorations are up. You get to see Christmas lights on the way home from work. I don't because my commute is down the stairs, but I right there. I got the Christmas tree.
You get to
That's
see
Charlie
them
Brown
behind
me here in the studios, monorail under it, stocking from when I was a kid, hanging by the fireplace, which we finally have at the new place. So yeah, life's good. I mean, I can't complain because I know folks have been socked in with a blizzard and they're talking about 3-hour commutes where, you know, my worst traffic nightmare is that I stubbed my toe on one of the steps. So
I'd say falling down the stairs would be
at the bottom. So yeah, that would not be pretty. So joining me today to have some fun Disney talk to kick off this weekend the right way, we have Rikki from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. What's going on, Rikki?
You know, I don't know what you're talking about a full work week. I'm not at work today, so I'm actually in the beautiful state of Missouri as I go to celebrate Christmas with my in-laws. So
are you going to be in Central Missouri?
I had a 4-day week this week. I will be in Central Missouri for part of the time. I will be in St. Louis for Friday, which is today. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I think we leave after dinner. And Mike, we're going to your least favorite place for Reese's, I'm sure. So, I mean, I have to go home and get my
Las Fuentes, Mexican though, for Christmas because on my birthday, this is how much Las Fuentes misses me. They sent me a personal shout out on Facebook, like on their page, Feliz Cumpleaños, Miguel, and so I don't get on Facebook much, but Pam saw it. She's like, Mike, Las Fuentes like send you a personal birthday message on their page. Awesome.
We miss you. Please come back.
So today we're gonna have some fun. This show is kind of sparked by obviously Rise of the Resistance. We record our shows on Monday, so we're hoping it is online and everything is working today. Got to cross our fingers. We're assuming that it is. And also kind of the thought of this Imagineering series on Disney Plus has me thinking a lot about the why of what works when it comes to a successful theme park day for us. You know, I think we take for granted that we go down and we enter the Magic Kingdom or Epcot or the studios or Animal Kingdom. And I think most of us walk out thinking we had a successful day. And when I think about this, I wonder what a successful day is. Is it, 7 attractions, a nice lunch, and maybe seeing a parade? Is it, 22 attractions and, having a meal at, say, Tiffin's? Or, I think it depends on what your goal is and what your personal preferences are. I think that's a big thing. But it's all about, it's not just headliners. But I think it is important that we have things like Rise of the Resistance. So kind of before we start jumping into that, Rikki, when we talk about a successful theme park day, like what comes to mind for you? Like, because everybody's got different goals. Yours are way different than mine a lot of times.
Absolutely. And mine, as hard as I try, I still have trouble breaking the habit. For me, a successful theme park day is visiting the most number of attractions I possibly can. Which, like I said, I've been there so many times at this point, which I know sounds like I'm rubbing it in, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be, but like, when I am blessed to be able to get to go down there a lot, and I know that, and but I still have that mentality of the fact of how it was before I could get down there all the time. Like I haven't been able to break that mentality of I have to see, X number of attractions. I have to go, here, and here, and here. And I've gotten better over the years, but it still is something that I have the habit of, and is very, very, very hard to break for me. So I play the fast pass game a lot in order to be able to get the most number of attractions that I possibly can in a day. And that's kind of how I make that a successful thing, is by being able to do that. But I mean, I do take it a little easy sometimes, grabbing a longer meal or, whatever. I don't really do parades. I'm not a parade girl unless it's like, unless I'm paying for it, which is, for the parades, for the hard ticket events, I'm paying for those. So I will stop for those. I don't really do the fireworks that often and the nighttime shows. It's hit or miss for me. So like, that's not important in my day. It really is about seeing the attractions. And of course, being there with, my loved ones, you guys and my brother and my family and, stuff like that of course is important as well. But yeah, for me, my most important thing is still to this day hitting the most number of attractions I possibly
can. Various podcasts, because we all have different ideas. I have to see, I love seeing fireworks at the end of the day. I love nighttime parades like Spectra Magic. One of my favorite things ever, totally miss it. Main Street Electrical Parade in the Magic Kingdom. That's successful when I get to see those illuminations back in the day. I still like Epcot Forever. Yeah. Excited for Harmonious. So that's kind of, we're going to have this discussion today. And with Rise of the Resistance opening, probably I would guess Disney's most ambitious attraction ever. As they've said that this thing is just, the show building is immense. The amount of technology they've thrown into this thing is unprecedented. I think it's important for Disney to do this, but I mean, we're going to also talk about, as I've thought about this throughout the last couple months, smaller attractions like Enchanted Tales with Belle are just as important to me as a Rise of Resistance. We'll have this conversation here over the next 30 minutes or so, but the reason that Rise is important is, one, Disney, especially if you've been watching the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, is you really kind of dive into the archives and you see what happens behind the scenes at Imagineering, which I've listened to Wedway Radio, and I got to thank Nate and Matt so much, because basically they've done this series. I mean, the last 10 years. I mean, really, I feel like I know names that I wouldn't have known because of Wedway Radio. And I know stories and backstories because of the research they've done and they've provided to us. And again, I can't thank them enough, because that is a show that is hard to do. It's hard to present that information. They've done it so well. Absolutely. And I love audio podcasts. I've always been like an AM radio guy where I can picture things in my mind. But now seeing this video on the Imagineering series that goes along with these stories that are kind of familiar, I'm getting different angles on them. I'm getting extra information. I'm really into this. I'm loving it. But the thing is, we talk about a successful theme park day and big attractions like Rise. Disney has always been somebody, as a company, and Walt Disney himself, a technologist and somebody who wasn't afraid to fail. I think it's just harder to fail nowadays with social media and the immediacy of, if this thing didn't go off as a hitch, and again, we're recording before it officially opens on December 5th, we're recording on Monday. But I mean, any small thing, you get these people who will nag about it or be negative, and they have agendas. And I'm not saying that everything has to be rosy, but I mean, when you're doing something as big as Rise, something is going to happen. It's not going to be perfect. But man, the thing is, Disney has to do this. I mean, this is what they've always done. This is what they need to continue to do. I don't want them to always play it safe, because when they play it safe, we're getting robbed of things like this, which I think is going to be a great experience. I'm hoping to see it in January. So, I mean, where do you fall on that with, this is going to be, it's going to be huge. It's going to have hiccups. I'm sure it's going to have hiccups. But I mean, Disney's got to do this, right? They have to.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have to do these huge e-ticket type of attractions with, pushing the technological envelope. I mean, they've been doing it since the days of Walt. I mean, when you look back at the Imagineering story, and if you know the history of things, I mean, that the Matterhorn had never been done before. I mean, there was not a steel coaster like that before. They had not done it in a mountain before. There was nothing like that. And they took a chance on that. They said, you know what, let's do this. Let's not be scared. Let's put something like this in. And I'm glad to see that Disney still feels comfortable pushing the envelope in this regard. Now, again, you know my theories and my takes on the fact that I'd like to see them pushing the envelope on things like this that are not related to IP.
It's a safer bet.
But that's another story.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to love this just because it has Star Wars associated. I know we're not going to get
that. Well, yes, but I mean, you know, that's not a sure thing all the time. You know, I mean, especially if you look at the internet nowadays, you know, the fact that it's Star Wars is not necessarily a sure thing anymore. But I mean, with all that being said, yes, Disney does still need to do these kinds of attractions where they push the envelope because, you know, I know that you don't necessarily like Universal, and you know, I know that this is a Disney podcast, but as someone who does go to Universal, having that is, I think, a huge in Disney's backyard is a huge thing because it does push them to do things that they maybe wouldn't have been pushed to do. I mean, Hagrid's is an amazing coaster. It is fantastic what they've done. It pushes the boundaries of a coaster idea. I mean, what they did there is phenomenal. So with that being said, I mean, you know, let's be honest, we wouldn't have Star Wars Land.
And that's you know, I'm totally fine with that because I've never read a Harry Potter book, never seen a movie. I've gone to the land. I did visit the land. I thought it was pretty neat. I didn't understand a lot of the story. It was immersive. I mean, and I'm glad it exists because then we get these wars and the wars are good.
Exactly. And the wars are good. So, but what I'm saying is I don't know, you know, I'm glad that Disney feels the need to be pushed because of things like that. Like, I am one that is so excited about the theme park wars because it just means it's better for everyone. Everyone gets to be more creative. Everyone gets to push the boundaries and do things that are more intense, not intense in like thrill or, you know, something like that, but like something that they just didn't think that they could be able to do. You know, they try harder to do things like that. So in that regard, you know, I think that Rise is going to up the ante, and then Universal is going to come back with something that's just as phenomenal, you know, and then it's going to cause Disney to. So I'm all about this. Like, this is what I love. So yes, to answer your question though, I think that attractions like Rise are absolutely necessary for Disney to be able to still be able to do. Because they need to push that creative envelope for themselves, for the park.
The thing about it right now is I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers because, and there's a lot of footage out there.
I know.
You know, say I wasn't going for a year, I might try to just check it out and watch it. But I'm going down in January. Going to get to go back for Princess, so hoping to get to ride this and not even ride it, but experience it a couple times at least.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll be down there at Christmas, and I'm trying, you know, like, so I don't have as many weeks to go as you do, and avoiding
it is
going to be I mean, really difficult.
You know,
so yeah.
But the thing is, you know, I'm a football fan, so I look at it like with Rise of Resistance is like your downfield 50-yard bomb. It's a really flashy play. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you connect for a 50-yard pass, it's going to be, you know, touchdown most times. This is what might win the game for you. You know, like, you don't typically win the game on an off tackle run. However, those are important runs because the run sets up the pass in football. It's low risk. You know, you're not going to throw an interception when you hand the ball off to it. You might have a fumble, but it's lower risk. A pass is high risk. When you're going downfield, it's, you know, way less chance that it's successful. I think Rise, and I think Walt Disney World as a whole needs, I think what works is that they have a lot of just a mix of stuff. But the thing is, I hope that they don't go away from creating things, like I said, like Enchanted Tales with Belle or Navi River Journey. You know, like, that is not talked about a lot, but that's a solid attraction, which it's kind of the counterpoint to Flight of Passage, which makes the land way better. So I hope that not only are they, you know, looking at when we get, because I mean, we've been looking forward to Rise forever, like on the horizon. I know they're looking at like the new roller coaster over at Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. It's going to be huge, e-ticket, but also some smaller stuff, which Ratatouille, do we consider that smaller? I mean, it's e-ticket. I mean, but that's a big one too. I mean, smaller little things coming along the way too.
It is. And that, I think you're right. Disney does need to make sure they balance everything with those smaller type of attractions. They are not flashy. They're not what everybody's talking about, but they are so necessary, in making a well-rounded park experience. Yes, Navi River Journey. It has some flaws, of course, but it's still a good attraction overall. It's still immersive. It takes you into the story, and sets the scene of what you're experiencing. I think that they it's still necessary. Again, look at Toy Story Land. They have alien swirling saucers. I mean, that's not an e-ticket by any stretch of the imagination. That is definitely, maybe a C ticket attraction, I would say. But it's still necessary to have something like that in that land, in that park, because really, I mean, goodness knows, there's not a lot of there's shows, which that's all fine, but there's not a lot of sea attractions in Hollywood studios that are like that. You've got walkthrough attractions and Star Wars Launch Bay and stuff like that, but you don't have any you don't have a lot of sea level attractions in Hollywood studios, and that's something that I think is missing a lot in Hollywood studios, and something I hope that they address moving forward. I think that part of the problem is nowadays everybody expects and wants that e-ticket attraction, and anything less than that is a failure. It's not, but according to the Twitterverse and everything like that, if it's not an e-ticket, it's not worth it, which is 100% not true. I think that all of those type of attractions are necessary, and I do think that that's something that is maybe missing in what are you mentioned the what's coming for Epcot. You get the Moana experience, which is definitely not that's a walkthrough experience. That's an A ticket. Ratatouille is definitely along, since I have been on it, it is more along the lines of an e-ticket, maybe D ticket attraction. Might go D. So you've got that, but look at how many E and D ticket attractions are in Epcot right now. There's not a lot of you got Living with the Land, and you've got Finding, or The Seas with Nemo, and you've got Imagination now, which of course that wasn't that wasn't a C ticket attraction when that was built. Especially if you went on the original Imagination, that was definitely an E ticket attraction. But when they killed it, I mean, that definitely turned it into a C ticket attraction. You're gonna have the Play Pavilion, which it's not going to have. I mean, that's going to be a lot of A and maybe B ticket attractions there. It's not going to be anything spectacular there, but I think
just as much as Guardians Coaster, absolutely. you got to. It's complimentary, and I think the thing too, you're kind of talking about this. You're making my point is that I like what they did in Galaxy's Edge. Now, if they really wanted to go the full thing and it would have screwed up the whole theming of the land, I mean, they could have put a spinner X-Wing attraction, what I'm saying? Like a Dumbo with X-Wings. And then you have, a minor attraction, but I'm glad they didn't do that because it's all about immersion in Galaxy's Edge. But I think Smuggler's Run opening, say these both open at the same time, which I think they meant to happen.
Oh, they absolutely meant for them to
Rise of the Resistance is your flight of passage. And Smuggler's Run is just a little bit of souped up Navi River Journey. It's a step up, but Rise is like your big headliner, and Smugglers would be kind of a secondary. Now it's still an e-ticket attraction, but a secondary e-ticket, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they meant for it to be lesser. Let's put it that way. I think that they wanted it to be, along the same lines as what Rise of the Resistance hopefully is, and will be. So in that regard, maybe they missed the mark just a touch. But I think it's still an e-ticket attraction. It's just not hitting necessarily like an e-ticket attraction is. But maybe that will all change with Rise of the Resistance opening and people finally hopefully getting to the land, now that everybody's put off their trips, or a lot of people have put off their trips, till 2020, to be able to make sure that they got to see Rise of the Resistance as well as, Smuggler's Run. So, hopefully with people starting to trickle in with that, that will make the attraction more of the e-ticket, Smuggler's Run more of the e-ticket attraction that it's.
How excited?
Disney intended
not excited,
it to be,
but when you saw that the height requirement for Rise of Resistance came out as 40 inches, which is not tall. I mean, basically, this is a family attraction, which I'm excited for. I mean, I think that's good, but I mean, I think it's going to be more about show and effects than the traditional thrill of like a drop or flipping upside down. It's about special 100%. Effects. It's about immersion, but it's about perceived danger. While it's almost like an Ellen's Energy Adventure, but just like souped up to 10 degrees higher, I think.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Now there is a drop in Rise. Small drop. So I don't want. It is a small drop. It just depends on your definition of small drop, though. I'm one who does not like drops. So that's why I was nervous to go on Hagrid's, because there is a small-ish drop in Hagrid's. But that's why I don't ride Tower of Terror, because I don't like the drops in Tower of Terror. So I'm nervous about how big this drop is going to be in Rise of the Resistance, because I really don't like drops. So if I know it's coming, and I can if I can mentally prepare for it, I'm okay. But, that's why I don't do well with Tower of Terror, because I don't know how many times I'm going to go up and down. So I can't mentally prepare for Tower of Terror, but I can mentally prepare potentially for a drop that I know is going to happen. So that's good. But I don't want people to go into it thinking, oh, there's not a drop, because there is. So in that regard, yeah, I do. But I do think that it's more of an experiential attraction. And I do like that they're going with that. I think that that's good that they're going back with something like that. And it's more about seeing the whole overall. I think that that's going to be a really good thing for the
what
entire
I'm guessing
family,
too with that drop is that since they're saying it's
so.
A small drop, I mean, that's what it says in the ride summary on the app if you look at it now. And they're also encouraging you we try to throw in tips, download the latest version, update your Disney Parks app, because I think it's going to have a lot of stuff in the queue because you're going to be waiting a while. So have that available to you, stuff to do. Yeah. But I think the thing is, if the story and the effects are such that the drop isn't like a Tower of Terror drop, it's like you're like Absolutely. Ducking, like the vehicle's ducking from a TIE fighter about to take your head off. Like that's not it. I mean, you're physically dropping, but in the story, it's more of a reactionary thing, like on Dinosaur.
I do know a spoiler, so I won't. But it is part of the story. I can tell you that the drop is part of your story. So I hope that's not too much of a
like Justin says here in the live chat,
the drop is part of the story.
He nails it right here with this comment. He says, for him, an attraction being, quote, pushed, it's more about being immersive, creative, and the storytelling. Mm-hmm. And that last word is what Disney does so well. The thing is, like, when I see, who was it? Like Tony Baxter or somebody talking about, and this is again on those old Travel Channel specials Disney did about the parks. He talked about when Star Tours, they started doing that for Disneyland. They were working with George Lucas, and he's like, man, when I was watching that original episode 4, the Star Wars, he was in the theater and he's like, God, if I could just feel what it felt like to go down that trench and blow up the Death Star. It was like Luke's making that final run, Darth's on his tail, Han Solo's out there in the Millennium Falcon clearing him for his last shot. I mean, like, you're in it. You're so invested in the movie theater, but if you could just feel the yoke in my hand and I could feel the just the G-forces as I'm getting ready to take that shot. And that's what Star Tours did. And I think that's what's exciting is that, now that we have this new generation of movies with the episode 7, 8, 9, like, God, what would it feel like to take on the First Order and to be in the Resistance? And I think this is going to take us to the level like, this is going to be as close as we can be to being in the movie.
I absolutely think that is correct. I think that this is 100% going to be the closest that it will be to, being in the movie. And that's what, kind of is like, dang, Hollywood Studios, why'd you get rid of all the movie making thing? Because you could really take that to this, attraction, and it really is making you feel like you're in the movie, and you're going along with the story. You're an extra on the set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they could have just tied that in so well. I mean, I get the whole live your Star Wars story thing and what you're doing, and Galaxy's Edge, but this would have worked so well with the old Hollywood Studios mentality.
Fun, but so well. Talking about big, huge attractions along with minor things that make the Walt Disney World experience what it is, make it a whole. The thing is, when I'm walking through Galaxy's Edge, after I've gone on Rise of the Resistance, or even before, or even while I'm waiting in the queue, seeing things like Chewbacca walking around or Rey working on a spaceship as I approach, that is what's selling the entire story. It's not just, okay, when I get in line for Rise of the Resistance, I'm preparing myself for an experience. What I like is when I walk into Galaxy's Edge from Grand Avenue or going through Toy Story Land, what have you, the environment changes, the sounds change, the color palette changes. And then when I, encounter Chewbacca just kind of walking through the land and checking things out, or Rey, or, First Order Stormtroopers, all of a sudden, I'm definitely not in Toy Story Land. I'm definitely not in Hollywood Studios anymore. I'm in Batuu. I'm in the Star Wars universe. And that gets me, that stuff has to be there. And it has to be there 3 years from now. It can't just be there for December of 2019. It can't just be there for February 2020. If this land is to be successful, and there's two major attractions, then you can buy a lot of stuff. You can build a droid, you can build a lightsaber, which is all costing you, buy blue milk. There's a lot of cost. Yeah, you can eat food, which is fine. I mean, I get that. But the thing is, the environment of those characters that you know and love, walking around and staying in character, and hopefully maybe in a year we'll have X-Wing drones flying over. Who knows? That'd be sweet. That'd be awesome. Oh God, that's like my dream. But TIE fighters flying around. Oh God, that'd be unbelievable. But the thing is, that stuff has to be there, because without that, it's not as enriched. It's not a rich experience. It's a cool experience, but I mean, what I would talk about when I go home is, Ray snuck up behind me and asked me, First Order coming around, like I need to get out of here. As I'm getting ready to ride, it all works together. That you can't have the big without the small, I don't think.
That's 100% true. And I hope that once Rise opens and they start getting, now it is open, but they start getting people in the land and stuff like that, I hope that they start incorporating more of that type of thing into the land to really make it well-rounded. Because that is such that small stuff like that is such an integral part of the story of the land. I hope that they can do more shows with Kylo Ren, with his what is this thing called? Mike, you got to answer my question. What's the
it's like an Imperial
thingy, the black
I don't know
thing?
what his name. It's just Kylo Ren ship. Yeah.
Okay.
It probably does, but I don't know.
Good. I didn't know if it had a name. Okay. I know they have the ship there, and I know they have the stage, and I know that they sometimes do shows, but maybe have it happen kind of on a more continuous basis. And I've seen Rey and Chewie and trying to repair the ship, but maybe do that on a more continuous basis. And I know that they have spots for other kind of shows and stuff. I hope they do those things on a continuous basis, because that is it's what makes it's streetmosphere. It's streetmosphere for Galaxy's Edge. It's we talk about so much about that. Streetmosphere makes Disney's Hollywood Studios what it is. You go into Hollywood Studios and you see the citizens of Hollywood, and you get sucked into their shows, and it's fantastic. And there's so many of them, and they all do such a fantastic job. That needs to be in same kind of idea needs to be out in full force in Galaxy's Edge. I know they have a little bit of it, but they need to bring in more of it, I think, to really bring in that story of this is a real working planet, and people are here, and they're a little strange, and you don't never know who's good and who's bad. And I feel like that kind of thing needs to be brought more into Galaxy's Edge, and I'm hoping that that's something that they will continue, because that is the small things that are very necessary to
And
a
the cast
land
members
like
do
that,
such a good
to make
job
it successful.
that are doing the characters in Galaxy's Edge. They're amazing. They really are telling the story. They're not out of character one bit. It fits perfectly. Like it is exactly Streetmosphere for Galaxy's Edge. And as I see the citizens of Hollywood out on Sunset or Hollywood Boulevard or right at that intersection, what it gives me is that if I catch a movie on like Turner Classic Movies or AMC or something like that, inevitably, as you're watching that movie, you're wondering what would it have been like to be around in the 40s or 50s and that kind of society, or that kind of a big ball, something like that. And when you have those characters there dressed in that time period costumes and acting like old glorious Hollywood, which probably didn't exist, but I mean, for that day, what it is,
right.
It's changing your time and place, and you're allowed to escape that for 20 minutes, and you're in a movie, and that's what Galaxy Edge does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
And I feel like I'm in old Hollywood when I'm on, Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset Boulevard. Like it really feels like
I'm excited for this,
Hollywood,
but I mean, as important as Rise is, and it's the bomb, it's the Hail Mary, and I'm hoping it's going to be a huge success. And I'm glad Disney's doing it, and they need to keep doing stuff like that. I mean, I think they are doing it, because think about the Star Wars Hotel. They're rethinking, because I keep seeing articles. This is not a hotel. This is an experience destination. Yeah,
it's not.
Which I mean that there's risk in that, but I mean, a huge risk. I don't think. I mean, I think people are going to be dropping money like crazy on this thing. But Disney, if anybody can do this and get away with it, I think this is going to be the start of. You better bet that Universal's looking at this and saying, "Man, how can we do that?" I don't know about the Harry Potter books, but do they have a hotel, spaceship, something they can stay on? I don't know, like a big book. I don't know. Bar.
Well, I mean, so they could. If Universal wanted to do, and let's put it this way, it's not Universal who would want to do this. I'm sure that they are like begging. But the person that they would have to get the okay from is J.K. Rowling, and I don't think that she would okay this. Knowing the type of person that she is, she's very protective, and I really don't think that she would okay it. So that's who they would have to appeal to, and it's just I don't think it's going to happen. But I could easily see them doing like building a Hogwarts, and you going to the school, and going around and going to lessons, and I think that would be awesome. Like that is what appeals to me, and that would be so cool to be able to do that. But again, I definitely don't. J.K. Rowling's not signing off on that. There's no way that's happening. So
about the show, cool. Let me ask you just a couple of your favorite minor attractions. I think the best one in the last 5 to 10 years is Enchanted Tales with Belle, because because nobody, like, you walk past it and you don't even notice it. I do that all the time. It's so hidden away. I mean, it's right across from
I do too.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which I saw Snow White for the very first time this week. Good movie. I think it'll be a good movie. I think it'll make it. Yeah,
did you like it?
Those movies are violent back in the day. It's all about death. So good though. And Dopey doesn't talk. I didn't know Dopey didn't talk. I didn't know it. I run into Dopey every year, and I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh.
He's cute though. All right. Yeah. So
no, Dopey doesn't talk
though. But I think that's a great attraction because it's innovative. Okay. Like you walk through a mirror, like you're immersed in the story. You play a part. It's a meet and greet at the same time. It's a lot of stuff, and it's very underrated. But the thing is, it's minor because you don't hear about it. But I think everybody needs to do it. Like if you're not doing it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You don't have to do it every trip, but every person on the first trip needs to do it because it's the best of Walt Disney World to me. I also think Living with the Land is a solid one. Now, like they spice it up for the holiday season, kind of add to it this year. But I mean, we need like smaller stuff like that. It makes your overall Disney day. So what about you? What about some minor things that are important?
Number one for me is Country Bears. Country Bear Jamboree is hands down my number one. It's corny, it's dated, it's fantastic. I mean, it's so awesome what they've done. And when you think back to the fact that this is an original opening day attraction and it still stands the test of time. I mean, overall, all things considered, I mean, it's maybe not for everybody, but I still laugh, like there are still things in that attraction that make me laugh, and things that I didn't get as a kid that I certainly get now. So, like I think that is an attraction that is for all ages because you enjoy it as a child, although I didn't because it scared the bejeebus out of me because I thought the bears were going to eat me. But as I've grown up and have stopped being afraid of animatronic bears, I've learned that it is a fantastic, fantastic attraction. So Country Bears is absolutely, I think, my number one. I still have a place in my heart for Figment. It's not the same as it was. I know that. It hurts me that it's not. But again, it has a place in the park. I think that I do think that something like Navi River Journey, that one again, it has some flaws, of course, but it is so necessary at Disney's Animal Kingdom because there really is nothing like it at Animal Kingdom. I mean, there are no slow moving dark rides in Animal Kingdom, period. So adding something like that to the park is huge. So I think and super, super necessary to Disney's Animal Kingdom. So yeah, I think and I think those are
what
kind
I'm
of the ones
noticing
that
too is
stick
there's like
out
a lot
to
of
me
yin
the
and
most.
yang to this. Well, hang on real quick, because like with Navi River Journey, you have Flight of Passage, kind of yin and yang. With Enchanted Tales with Belle, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, kind of a yin and yang, right in the same neighborhood. Country Bear, Splash Mountain, thrill ride, show. I like that. A lot of them, and I think that's important, like to keep the balance. I mean, I'm not trying to be Joe Rohde here and think about balance of a theme park. I didn't even think about that until 5. But I mean, there really is kind of a you got to have it all. What else are we gonna add?
I can't believe I forgot my absolute favorite attraction, and that's the TTA, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority. Oh my gosh! Yes, exactly. Like seriously, the TTA is so fantastic. It is hands down. I did I go to Walt Disney World if I did not ride the TTA? I mean, honestly, like I get on that attraction no matter what, just about every single time. Like I can't miss riding the TTA. I mean, I will wait in line for the TTA, and it makes me sad. It makes me happy that there's a line now in the afternoon, but it makes me sad as well because I'm like, dang it, I remember to just walk on this thing. Yes. So, but I'm glad because it means that other people are finding the joys of the TTA, and that means that maybe they won't.
Well, that's going to do it for today's show. But here's the most important part. Over the weekend, we want you to drop by Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Let us know your favorite minor attractions and kind of, chime in with your thoughts on this discussion where big, innovative e-ticket attractions like Rise of Resistance, hugely important, going to be, game changing, I think, for the theme park industry and huge for Disney, but also, how about those minor attractions? What do they mean to you? What are your favorites? Let us know over on Facebook, facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by our friends over at the Magic for Less Travel. So if you want to support the show, the next time you're going on a Disney adventure, whether it's the Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, hey, take a cruise on the Disney Cruise Line. You get an awesome onboard credit to spend like cash during your cruise. Just drop by the magicforless.com. Check out all the great specials, see all the planning tools. And while you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form. Put as much information as you can in that quote. I will get back to you right away as long as you mention the Be Our Guest podcast, and you and I will be planning that trip. And I promise to take great care of you and get you the best price possible every time. I love our listeners. I love helping you out with your trips, and it really does help support everything we do. So again, themagicforless.com, and let them know you heard about them here on the show. Also, as you do that shopping this holiday season, Amazon has our Amazon affiliate link, and they help support everything we do. So beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Bookmark it on all your devices. You get all your Prime benefits, cost you nothing extra. Again, thank you so much for using it. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at @BeOurGuestPod and at @BeOurGuestMike, and Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. And don't forget, December 15th, Sunday night, probably at 7:00 Eastern. We'll kind of work on the time. Holiday traditions. We want you to call in and share that so we can take that show with us over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house for all of our holiday celebrations. Kind of a big family get together for the Be Our Guest podcast family as we round out the holiday season. And I'd love to hear your tradition. So again, December 15th, Sunday night, join us for a live call-in show, Holiday Traditions, here on the Be Our Guest podcast. All right, it's time to get out of here. We'll be back again on Monday with another great trip report. But until then, for Pam and Rikki, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, whatever you do, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. That's fun.
Yay! Yes, it was.
I do agree with all that, though.
We are awesome at making stuff up.
Now I get to see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Hey, just wanted to put this in your ear because it's something that we need to think about because it is December and this is a wonky month.
Fundraiser still?
Huh? Oh God, I don't think we're doing that this month.
We
Are you
do
kidding? That's not happening. I'm sure. No, we do have to do it because I have boxes full of stuff for an auction. By the way, they're all over here.
Yeah.
Ta-da! All those boxes are for the auction. Yep, that's all stuff. Anyway, no. What I was going to say was that I am not going to be here on the 23rd, which is probably when we would have when you would look at doing our Christmas episodes. Okay. So we need to look at doing that early. So because I'll be down in Florida. So
we can do them early.
I leave on the 20th. I hope. Because I haven't actually asked off work yet. So hopefully they let me off. Because I'm going to be in Florida anyway. Hey, I have vacation days.
I don't have vacation days. I said to beg somebody to cover for me. No, we'll figure it out. Just give me, but let's work on that next week.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would have to be next week or the week of the 16th. I mean, that we do it. So, I mean, it would have to be that week that we do it. So, just letting you know. No, I know. I'll keep pushing you.
We'll figure it out. That's what all right. Well, have a good one. Glad you're feeling better.
All right.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Okay. Bye, y'all.